It wasn't a pretty win over the Colorado Rockies, but it certainly felt like an important one. I'll explain why beating the Rockies on Monday was such a big deal on today's episode of Locked On Cardinals.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Cardinals fans. I'm JD Hafron, and I'm your host for Locked On Cardinals, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, covering your team every day. You can follow me on X, JD Sports Radio, the podcast on X at LO_Cardinals. We're on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram at Locked On Cardinals. This is a show serving Cardinal Nation and giving the best fans in baseball all of the info about the birds on the bat. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. Football season is around the corner, so visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now. The St. Louis Cardinals have been an afterthought when it comes to the playoffs since the second half of the season began. Really, you had that horrendous 1-5 start out of the gate against the Diamondbacks and then the Rockies, which prompted the front office to say, all right, we're definitely going to trade away our bullpen assets. All right. A move that I completely agreed with and still agree with. These were guys who, they're going to become free agents. And if they want to come back in the offseason, so be it. But you hadn't gotten too far with them so far this season. And you were able to acquire some pieces that hopefully will help you in the future. We are going to talk about these guys here in a little bit. Not the guys in the Cardinals organization, but what have the guys that the Cardinals traded away? What have they done so far since leaving St. Louis? We'll do that in segment 2, so stick around for that. But after that, the Cardinals then split with the Padres. They win the first 2, lose the next 2 to San Diego, which was a bummer. Then they lost 2 of 3 to the Marlins, who were playing very well at the time. But the writing was on the wall, right? Like, it's probably not going to happen this year when it comes to going to the playoffs, right? I don't think anybody felt bad for thinking that way. But the calendar flips to August. And that's the thing, is when you have the trade deadline, there's still a lot of time left in the season. It's not what happens at the deadline is not the be all end all for the end of the season. You still got 2 months to go in August and September before things are all said and done. So the calendar flips to August, and you're staring at a gauntlet of the Padres, Dodgers, and Cubs. And these are 3 teams that were 3 of the best records in not only the National League, but Major League Baseball. Like they have been cream of the crop type of teams. And they dropped 2 of 3 to San Diego. But then you win 2 of 3 against the Dodgers. And then you win 2 of 3 against the Cubs. So you're 4-2 against those teams. And because of the struggles of teams like the New York Mets, who have lost 7 in a row coming into Tuesday, the Reds have not been able to take off the way many like myself thought that they would. I thought the acquisitions that they had at the trade deadline were very, very good ones. I thought they were nice pieces to complete a puzzle that they're trying to do there in Cincinnati under the restrictions of their payroll. And some days they look like it's great, and then other days they fall right back into things. So I thought they would do much better after those moves. And so far, it hasn't happened for them. And you look around, and all of a sudden, the Cardinals haven't lost any ground, really. They're sitting at 3.5 games back going into this series against Colorado. And in the words of the great Lloyd Christmas, so you're telling me there's a chance? And yes, the Cardinals do have a chance because of the failures of these other teams. It's why this series against the Rockies is so important all of a sudden. It's why Monday was so important. The Cardinals sitting here hovering around the 500 mark. There's nothing special going on with them, but they've put together a few winning series and have not fallen out of contention yet because of that in the National League, because none of these other teams have taken off like some people thought they would. And then you got the Mets, who were spiraling. So your job as the Cardinals right now is to just take care of business. Take care of your own yard right now. Rockies are the people standing in front of you. Losing 2 of 3 to them in Denver was ridiculous. You just can't do that. But it didn't kill him the way that I thought it was going to. It's obviously a major letdown. You had to trade some pieces away, but now you get them again. And Monday night, they almost blew what was an outstanding start for Miles Mikolas. Luckily, they did not. And I give Miles a lot of grief on this show. I know that, and deservedly so. He has not been very good in 3 years. But when he does have good games, I'm not afraid to acknowledge it. And he did his job at a very high level on Monday. And it sucks that he did not factor into the decision. 5 1/3 no-hit innings. Yeah, I'll take that. I don't care what MLB team it is. I don't care that it's the Rockies. Like, I'm not going to knock him for that. That deserves acknowledgement. And even though we left the game trailing 2-1, the guy gave the team a chance to win. And that's really all you can ask for from him. Because, Sonny Gray, you're expecting more, right? Matthew Liberatore, you're kind of expecting more. Even Michael McGreevy these days, you're expecting more. Miles Mikolas, you're just hoping he keeps you in the game. Because really, when we see him as the probable starter, we're expecting him to get crushed, right? Like, that's what your expectation is. And then you're pleasantly surprised when he doesn't. Nobody expects him to come out and shut down his opponents like he did on Monday, but he did. And it was unfortunate that the offense couldn't come through while he was actually still in the game to get him the win. But I think if you ask Miles, as long as the team wins, I think he's going to be cool with it. And thank God they got it done. The good part of the game was the end, obviously. Nolan Gorman, 8th inning. We're talking about Nolan Gorman, who let's not talk about the defense because we know it is not good over at third base right now. We have been so spoiled with Nolan Arenado, but what Nolan Gorman is doing at third base is not adequate. Like, it is not good. He's having troubles throwing the ball over there. Maybe we need to see more Thomas Ajayci over there instead. He's in the lineup tonight, by the way, at third base, but they are facing a lefty. But anyway, Gorman, though, in the 8th inning, I'm not trying to bash him right now, but he takes that walk, works a walk. Great, right? Ajayci, bloop knock. And then it's Brendan Donovan coming off the bench with the clutch 2-run triple in the 8th inning to give the Birds the lead, goes down and gets it and pulls it down the right field line. And it was one of those moments that, you've seen over the years when a Cardinals team would go on a run. You have those, what we call signature wins, where you look back and you say, that was a big win right there. And you point to a certain part in the game and you're like, that was huge, right? This was one of those games to me, if they're going to continue to hang around and be somewhat of the discussion of this NL wild card. I know they're on the outside looking in. They're a bubble team at best. I don't even want to call them that right now. But that was a big win. To get a good start from Miles, to get the late rally to win, and to do it without having to use JoJo or Riley O'Brien, who have become your top late inning guys for Ollie so far. Kyle Leahy, awesome again. He's been on a heck of a tear lately, giving the team 2 1/3 innings, shutout innings, to pick up the win. Garrett Hampson gets in this game and makes a nice catch in the 9th inning. Nice sliding catch, scores the tying run as the pinch runner. When Hampson is helping you win, you got some good juju going, right? And I just think it was a huge win for this team, for their just mentality, their well-being, for the clubhouse. Despite it being against the Colorado Rockies, it was still a come from behind win late in a game. And you're coming off winning 2 series against 2 good teams in the Cubs and the Dodgers, and you hate to have a letdown against somebody who's an inferior opponent. All right. If the Cardinals were in the same spot as the Rockies are, I'd be saying the same thing about them. They're an inferior opponent. You are supposed to beat the Colorado Rockies. And to be able to do it and come through late like that, I think it's a huge win. Donovan told the media after the game, even though we did sell at the deadline, you still don't lose belief. Because if you lose belief, you have nothing. One of the things this team has done a good job of is responding. And it was very cool to see that tonight. We said this before the series started. If you don't sweep, in my eyes, it's a failure. And I still think it is. I think they need a sweep here badly. And I hope things continue to head in the right direction. And if they want to keep hanging around in this thing, you got to take advantage of the schedule when it gives you the Rockies, and you got it in a situation where, the Reds are playing the Phillies right now. Very good team, one of the best teams in baseball. And then they get the Brewers, who are the best team in baseball. So you are able to make some ground here against the Cincinnati Reds. As I mentioned, the Mets have lost 7 straight. I still can't believe it's falling apart like it is for them. But they got the Braves right now, which, they're not very good this year, but still it's, a division opponent. And then they get Seattle, who has made major moves at the deadline and looked great. So the Cardinals are getting the Rockies, and then you're getting a Yankees team who's been dealing with a lot of issues, specifically in their bullpen. So this is the time to take advantage of it. And after the game, Mikolas, he talked about how things feel. There are a lot of guys in this locker room, he said, who have tremendous amounts of fight in them and tons of heart. We're not giving up, no matter what anybody else is throwing our way. As long as we have fun, we're a dangerous team. You know what's fun? Winning. Winning is fun, so keep doing it, boys. Up next, what are the guys that the Cardinals sent away at the trade deadline? I always like to go back and look and see. We'll do the prospects that they got at some other point when they get their feeding in the organization a little bit. But let's talk about the guys they traded away. One pitcher in particular not having much success so far with his new squad. We'll get into that next, coming up on Locked On Cardinals. If you're running a business, you know that every missed call is money left on the table. Think about the last time you had a service emergency, like a plumbing issue, or maybe something with your air conditioning right now, with it being ungodly hot in the Midwest and in St. Louis. When you call somebody, they don't pick up. You don't just stop there. You move on to the next one. And that's why, if you're a business owner, having a reliable business line is very important. And that's why you need Open Phone. Open Phone is the #1 business phone system that helps you streamline and scale customer communication, all from an app on your phone or computer. Juggling 2 phone lines to keep your business and your personal calls separate, that's done. Open Phone solves that instantly. Your whole team gets to use one shared inbox type of number, where everybody is on the same page, wondering like who's going to handle this thing, who's got the, you're all on the same page together. You got AI agent handling after hours calls, answering common questions, and captures leads so that you never miss a customer again. Open Phone is offering Locked On Cardinals listeners 20% off your first 6 months at openphone.com/LockedOnMLB. That's OPENPHONE.com/LockedOnMLB. And if you have existing numbers with another service, Open Phone will port them over at no extra charge. Open Phone, no missed calls, no missed customers. We're also being brought to you by FanDuel today. August 26th is officially FanDuel Futures Day. It's a brand new holiday for football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches. For just 24 hours, FanDuel will give you deals on NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling your MVP, whether you're eyeing a long shot division winner, or maybe you're ready to say who's going to win the Super Bowl already before week 1 even kicks off, this is your moment to shine. So take a flyer on, say, the MVP race, which is something that I'm always interested in. Josh Allen's your defending winner from last year. Rarely do they go back to back. So maybe choose another quarterback, because quarterbacks are normally the guys who win this thing. You've got tons of different people to choose from in the AFC and the NFC. Personally, I'm kind of leaning towards Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow. I just think they've got all the weapons. They brought T. Higgins back. They got Jamar Chase. They got Chase Brown in the backfield. Things are looking good for the Bengals, and he's healthy finally. So that's a guy I'm interested in. If you're ready to crown a champion in August, I'm a Packers fan and owner. I know my boy Jordan Love just got hurt, but he's supposed to be ready for week 1. Maybe your favorite team. Go ahead. Why not? Crown your champion. It's fine. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now, because Futures Day is one day and one day only. FanDuel, play your game. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. Leave your comments on YouTube as well as on X and TikTok anytime you want. Your feedback always welcome and encouraged. Make sure you guys give us a follow on those social medias, man. We appreciate that. Let's start with, we're not even going to start. We're just going to go into it. The guys that got traded away. All right. The guys that got traded away, we're very familiar with them. Like I said, we'll do the prospects the Cardinals brought in a little bit later on down the road when they get some more games under their belt. But Ryan Helsley, Phil Maton, and Steven Matz. Those were the 3 names that got shipped out, all solid pieces to what had been a pretty formidable bullpen for the Cardinals so far this year. Now they're in New York, Texas, and Boston. The headliner of all the trades was Ryan Helsley, reigning NL reliever of the year. He was the guy most people wanted to get their hands on ahead of Phil Maton, and Steven Matz. And he ended up going to the New York Mets. Just talked about how they have not played very well. And Hells Bells has been in the middle of this. It has not gone well for Ryan Helsley so far in the Big Apple. He is not their closer. Edwin Diaz is still the closer there, so it's a different role for Helsley. And, 7 in a row they've lost, and Helsley has been right there in 5 of the games already for the Mets. A lot of the same issues that Ryan Helsley was dealing with while he was wearing a Cardinals uniform has followed him to New York. And predictably followed him to New York. I don't know why we thought anything would change. Too many guys on base. Too many guys on base for Ryan Helsley this year. Of the 5 appearances that he's made since going to New York, only one of those appearances has he gotten through it with a clean inning without a runner being on base. One. Gave up 2 hits. Struck out 3 in his first outing. Strikeouts have been there, though, granted. Gave up 2 hits, struck out 3 in his first outing, gave up 2 unearned runs in extra innings without allowing a hit in his second one. Had to intentionally walk a batter in that one. He started with a runner on second base. It's not easy for anybody in extra innings games, so really not too upset with him about that, I'm sure. But that didn't work out. Ends up taking the loss in that game. So there's the first really bad appearance. Third appearance was a clean one. 3 batters, 2 strikeouts, no base runners. Good for you, Ryan Helsley. But then he gets to Milwaukee. And of course, the Milwaukee Brewers are the best team in baseball right now, and they do really, really good. And they've seen Ryan Helsley a lot through the years. He gives up 2 runs on 2 hits, including a home run on 8 pitches in his first appearance against the Milwaukee Brewers. Lasts only a third of an inning. So that's really bad. Then in his last appearance, it was 1 run on 2 hits, 1 walk, 1 K, in just 2/3 of an inning. Had to throw 24 pitches to get through all of that. Takes the blown save, his 6th of the season. All in all, Ryan Helsley has given the New York Mets 5 games, 4 innings, has given up 5 runs, 3 of them earned because of the extra inning stuff, on 6 hits, 1 home run, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. ERA is at 6.75. He's got a whip of 2, ERA plus of just 64. Remember, 100 is league average. He's got a loss. He's got 1 blown save, but he has no actual saves or holds so far since donning a New York Mets uniform. And the Mets have lost every single game he has appeared in. Again, they've lost 7 in a row. Not all of it is on Ryan Helsley, but I'm sure there's some blame being kicked around in that locker room and saying that, okay, this guy kind of sucks. Which is probably what they're thinking. New York's a little bit more aggressive than the way we treat and think about our players here in St. Louis. Whether that's a good or bad thing, I don't know. Sometimes we catch hell for being a little too nice to some of the players who deserve a little more scrutiny. But Helsley has not been good. He just hasn't. I kind of figured it would happen that way. I didn't think it was going to be a great fit for him in New York. It doesn't feel like the New York lifestyle is something that Ryan Helsley is probably all that keen on. He seems like a Midwest guy, So doesn't surprise me that he has struggled so far. Let's stay in the Northeast. Steven Matz in Boston. He's made 3 appearances thus far, appearing in the 6th, 7th, and 5th innings. 3 2/3 innings pitched, no runs, 1 hit, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Not bad. Not bad, right? Needless to say, it's going better for Steven Matz in the Northeast than it has for our boy Ryan Helsley. Then you got Phil Maton. Now, Phil Maton, we know, very, very good. He's had an excellent season, was having a great year with the Cardinals so far, and ended up going to the Texas Rangers, and they've enjoyed this. He's been very good. 5 appearances so far for the Rangers, 5 innings, 1 run, 2 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. He's got a hold, he's got a save, and he's got a win already under his belt with the Rangers. They got to be quite happy with their acquisition of Phil Maton. So, all in all, 2 out of 3 doing well. You feel for Ryan Helsley. You do. As a person, because we like Ryan Helsley. He's a great guy. We loved him in St. Louis, but the writing was on the wall that things are going in the wrong direction for Ryan Helsley. It was doing it in St. Louis, although he, 20 plus saves with the Cardinals. Some of those saves, we were like, oh my gosh, I can't watch. Why is it so difficult all the time? Still has outstanding velocity on the 4-seam fastball. Saw that he hit 103.8 on the gun when he was in Milwaukee in that game on Saturday. The problem is that it's straight. And when it's straight, guys are eventually going to time it up and hit it. They've been clobbering his fastball all year. All he's got is the fastball and the slider right now. He's got to get something else to get these guys off the barrel. That's whether he's needs to throw a cutter more. I would love to see a split finger for Ryan Helsley. I think that would be a great pitch. But these guys are going to end up hitting it. And the sad thing is now with the Cardinals, there is another gnat is in here. I just had to hit, if you're not watching on YouTube, I just had to hit the microphone with a fly swatter because they just keep coming in. There's like a crack in my door. They keep coming in, and I tried to fill it up today. But anyway, as far as Helsley goes, now you're kind of rooting against him because now with the Cardinals trying to chase down the Mets and the Reds, sadly, you kind of hope his struggles continue so the Cardinals can keep catching up. You hate to see it because you like the guy, but at the same time, sports, man, we want to win. We're going to preview tonight's game, a game that I think the Cardinals should win as well. That's coming up next on Locked On Cardinals. Today's episode brought to you by Game Day Hue, and so is this particular hat right here. If you haven't seen it yet, the Game Day Hue hats, they're very nice. They're very clean. I love them. The rope thing in the front is something that is becoming very, very popular right now. So you got that. You got the cool stripe in the back, the red and the white of the Cardinals. Game Day Hue makes clean, no logo gear with team-inspired colorways for every pro and college fan base. So if you want to go Mizzou, you want to go Fighting Illini, you want to go SLU, you can do that. I'm a Miami Hurricanes fan. You can get them in green. You can get them in orange. It's awesome. It's all about letting your colors speak for you. No giant logos, just smart, versatile hats and styles that work on game day, works on the golf course, works anywhere in between. You want to wear them to the gym, you can do that too. They'll keep you cool. And it's not just hats. We've got the gloves too. Hold on, I got the glove over here too. Split shade gloves. Bing, bing. Made for the golf course. These things are perfect. I am somebody that wears down the gloves. I think it's because I grip the club too tight. And so I wear down my gloves. So I'm always in need of new ones. And these are perfect for birthdays, Father's Day, winter holidays that are coming up. Right now, you can get 15% off with code MLB15 at GameDayHue.com. That's GameDayHue.com. The code even stacks on bundle deals. So now's the time to load up. Let your colors talk because colors speak louder than words. That's GameDayHue.com, code MLB15. Thanks again for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. You can find MLB Game Night on the Locked On MLB YouTube channel or wherever you listen to your podcast. I'll be on there hosting with John Frisch tonight. Hopefully talking about another win for the Cardinals after this big win on Monday. Now you get the lefties from Colorado. You're going to see Kyle Freeland tonight. Former Cardinal Austin Gomber is supposed to pitch game 3. But tonight's starter, Freeland going up against our lefty, Matthew Liberatore. Freeland 2-12 on the year. Splits between Coors Field and the road, they're real. Coors, he's 1-5. He's got a 6.52 ERA, and opponents are hitting .314 against him. On the road, he's 1-7. The ERA, more respectable, 4.75. And opponents are hitting .275 against him. The key to this is getting as many right-handers into the lineup as you can. Righties are hitting .317 against him this season. So get them all in there if you can. The lineup actually already got released, and I know we've got a lot of the righties are in there. Donnie is back in the lineup, which is great to see. Batting leadoff, he's going to be playing second base. Pozo's behind the dish tonight. Walker is back in right field. So JC's going to be over at third base. Newt's x-rays negative after the game last night, so that's good after he hit that foul ball off his knee. Not in the lineup tonight, which is fine because we need the righties. So I'm looking forward to seeing Mason Wynn and company and Contreras and Ivan Herrera. They got to do some damage tonight. They have to own this game for the Cardinals to pull out this W. Liberatore has not won a game since June 29th. Has made 5 starts. He's 0-3, the ERA over 5. None of that is good, and it doesn't get much better. He's not going deep into games at all. The strikeouts are falling off big time. He has just 1 in his last 2 outings. The amount of innings he's thrown as a whole this season might have finally taken the toll, and he might be hitting that wall that tends to happen to guys who aren't used to throwing as much. He's been a reliever. He hasn't been a starter over the years. So we'll see if he can at least be more efficient tonight. Hopefully he can get the guys at least 5 innings, but he has not reached that mark since July 5th. So it's another good reason that the bullpen didn't get taxed last night. Only needed to use Kyle Leahy, thanks to Mikolas' good start and Leahy being so good and covering the rest of the game. So I know it's cliche, but you got to do one game at a time. If you're the Cardinals right now, you take care of the team that's in front of you right now. That is not a very good team. That is the Colorado Rockies. You came back, you crumbled their spirits last night by coming back and defeating them near the end of the game. Hopefully that lingers over into today's game, a bit of a hangover, if you will. Shouldn't be scoreboard watching right now. I know you're going to hear Chip and the guys on the telecast talking about, hey, the Reds are in the Phillies, and that's fine. We can do that as a team. I don't want them doing that yet. Just take care of the business in front of you. Just do that. Focus on them, all right? Guys in black and purple and gray, that's who I want you paying attention to. Don't worry about everything else. Just go out, continue to give the effort that you have given us over the last 7 games where the Cardinals are 5-2. You continue to do that. You should be able to beat the Colorado Rockies. Right-handers, let's get swinging tonight. Thanks for making Locked on Cardinals your first listen every day. If you haven't already, give us a follow on X at @LO_Cardinals and at JD Sports Radio, TikTok, and Instagram at Locked on Cardinals. Like, subscribe on YouTube. You guys are the best fans in baseball for a reason. Hopefully the weather will be cool for tonight's game. I know I saw where they were already pulling the tarp on the field because they had some rain at Busch Stadium already, so hopefully we get this one. And let's get another one. Let's get another dub. Why not? You're the best fans in baseball for a reason. We'll see you next time on Locked on Cardinals.